Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Here we are. One day, my stuff maybe it might catch on one day. I don't know. I was just talking to my daughter. We were talking about something else, but talking about honesty, amongst alcoholics and stuff. And my reply to that is, the truth is the hardest thing you will ever seek. It's true. Part of the problem that we have going on right now isn't necessarily just the recovery coaches doing what they're doing, as much as they've been taught wrong. And it is hard to unteach people who think they are doing the right thing. And they'll turn around and say things, well, you're not. The moment somebody turns around and tells me how unopen-minded I am, it just tells me they really have no clue. I'm pretty open-minded to a lot of things, but I'm not going to entertain ideas that don't align. I don't. Right now they're using what's called EBT, evidence-based treatment, instead of CBT. Well, evidence-based treatment is this. This is where you're wrong. It's part of CBT. They just took a little part out of CBT and used it as something as a specialization. It's not a specialization. EBT is part of CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And we're not going to get it. Well, we might get into a little bit of that. But really, we're talking about the difference between sobriety versus recovery. I'm sure a lot of people that are joining us will know about this already. If you've ever been on a dry drunk, you will know. Hey, Amber, good to see you. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Yep. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I'm hoping soon we will get to a point. If you listen to any Imani Man stuff, he gets to play music too. So I'm gonna start working on my show. There'll be songs and entertainment. We'll be able to sing along. There's a right way to do it. I just have to figure out what it is, and it has to do with royalties. Is what it has to do with. These people did make the music, and if it is played, if it is utilized, then they deserve to be paid. I absolutely believe in that. Absolutely. Hey, Clara, good to see you. Good to see you. Now, I have my own opinions on the difference between sobriety and recovery. I'm probably not going to get too much into my own opinions on this one. If you listen to me at all, you kind of already know them. All right. I would have to say the biggest difference between sobriety and recovery is the work. All right. So I have AI pulled up on my phone, and I still have not figured out how to work multiple tabs on my phone yet. All right. Oh, so we're going to do sobriety definition. Okay. The state of being sober. That is the definition of sobriety. The state of being sober. So, free of alcohol. You have no alcohol in you. You are currently sober. That is sobriety. That's the end of sobriety. Now, you might still, depending on how much you drink, you might be feeling better too. Maybe your skin's going to clear it. See, it doesn't matter who you are. Alcohol affects you in very adverse ways, not good ways. Yay, my stuff was shipped. All right. I have a umbrella coming in for the backyard, so we might have some shade during this 90-degree weather. All right, so I did pull something up here. It says the primary difference between sobriety and recovery is that sobriety is the state of abstaining from alcohol and drugs. We'll go ahead and throw drugs in there, even though that's clean, not sobriety. So we got to stop mixing these things. Sobriety, alcohol, clean, drugs. Okay, that's what they say in NA, and we have to follow what they do there. All right. So, but in this case, we'll go ahead and throw it in here. Well, recovery is a comprehensive, ongoing process of healing and personal growth. So, sobriety is the absence of alcohol. If I have alcoholism and now I'm sober, now there is no more alcohol. So, now what do I have? I have ism. I, self, and me. Of course, we're going to get into a little bit of alcohol is not the problem, it was the solution that turned into a dissolution. It not only made you disillusioned, but then it ripped through your life. Yeah. It ripped through your life. Like a hot knife through butter. Right on through. All right. So, and personal growth that addresses the root causes of addiction and builds a fulfilling substance-free life. Sobriety is a necessary first step. Absolutely. Can't have that, and that's a good point. You can't have recovery without sobriety first. Right. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and put down sobriety. If you've decided to get sober and live a healthier lifestyle, great job on you, man. Good job. I'm proud of you. But we're talking about alcoholism here. This isn't the sober curious. This isn't an alcohol problem or drinking problem. This is alcoholism that we're working with here. So, but I don't want you to think I'm putting anybody that, because there's a lot of people out there that want a sober lifestyle that are not alcoholic. And good for them too. But please stop promoting this other bullshit. Here's the problem that I have with it, that we're making specialized things just for you that are tempting to other people. See, you're still unthinking. So even though you're looking for a sober lifestyle, sometimes I wonder maybe there is a problem there. Denial runs deep. Denial runs deep. All right. So there again, I don't have a right to judge that or determine it. Yeah, that's not up to me, right? So sobriety is a necessary first step, but recovery encompasses the emotional, mental, and social aspects of well-being beyond just abstaining from substances. It missed something, did it not? Did you catch it too? Did you see what they missed? Now, if I would have said, what is the difference between sobriety versus recovery in AA, it would have given me it would have put it in there. Did you catch it? Because it was trying to stay clinical with us here. So I'm going to redo this. But recovery encompasses the emotional, mental, social, and spiritual aspects of well-being beyond just abstaining from substances. Okay. Now, I know, but Dion, there's so many different paths. Everybody has their own recovery journey, and we don't all have to believe in God. No, you don't need to believe in God, but you ain't in recovery. I'm sorry, and this is where my opinion comes in. But in this case, my opinion carries a lot of weight. I've been around this program a really, really long time, and I know some people they're even in the industry, but they're two-steppers. And they're missing parts of their life, and I can see it. The anger will come out a lot. There's no amends to it. It's this, it's always the anger. It comes out. My anger comes out every now and again too. I'll put something on Facebook, doesn't last for very long. I end up taking it down because I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. Right. So here's a more detailed breakdown. Sobriety, focus, abstaining from drugs and alcohol. Okay. Definition: being free from the influence of intoxicating substances. Fair enough. Time frame: can be achieved relatively quickly, even temporarily. Yeah, you'd be sober today, right now. It also kind of depends. Did you drink last night? How much did you drink? Did Did you shoot up heroin yesterday? Because the heroin's still in your body. Stuff's still in your body, depending on who you are. But here again, if we're saying can be achieved relatively quickly, even if temporarily, but we're throwing drugs in here, God, we're in a dangerous area now, because temporarily is no good when it comes to drugs. See, the problem with drugs, they're asymptomatic. Doesn't matter how many times you use it. The 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 chances of it killing you increase with each use. And it can happen on the first time, the 72nd time, or the millionth time. But it will happen. That is the day. And so see, they get a little this is why we shouldn't mix it all the time. But time frame, the right scope may not address the underlying causes of addiction or mental health issues. Well, if people run around and say, well, I have addiction because I have a lot of trauma in my life, and you're not doing anything about it, guess what you're going to be? Miserable. You're going to be more miserable off the drugs than you are on them. Sucks. See, we have to replace things in our lives. And this is true. It's true of anyone that I have met. We are not unique. Here comes another opinion, right? Even though it's true, any recovery devoid of a higher power is you're gonna miss out. I watched I know a lot of two-steppers, and they even work in the field, and they take that as a but what they only help people when they're getting paid. Aha, see? And there's nothing wrong with that either. That's their job. I'm not saying, but they're missing the whole part of helping somebody reclaim their lives. They can't do it. You cannot transmit something you do not have. And that very much includes recovery. If you haven't done a fourth and fifth step, then how are you going to help somebody else get to their own? If you did not go and do it yourself, then how are you going to tell other people how to do it? See, even my own therapist has done what I am currently doing. That's what makes her a good therapist. She has her education and a lot of experience, her own experience, which she has shared with me. That's recovery. When we meet, we both get helped. I'm kind of a counselor. I'm not, but we're on the same level when it comes to that. So she gets to talk to me a little differently than she probably does her other clients. I've been in therapy longer than she's been a therapist. Okay. I've been in therapy longer than she's been alive. But she does a great job. She really does. I'm very, very happy with my thing. I'm proud of her too. She went out on her own and, you know, good stuff, man. I'm very proud of her, right? So let's get to the recovery portion of this. And again, I'm not knocking on sobriety. The problem is when we make it special. Because for an alcoholic, if oh, we're going to go to this and there's going to be a sober area just for us, that in and of itself is a problem. We alcoholics need to be neutral to alcohol. That's great. You have a sober area. So what? What does that mean? Okay. There's also the smoking area. There's that too. All right. Separated. Separated. We are to be one in our community. We are to be working members of society. And by working, I don't mean jobs. I mean making your community a better place. Well, if everybody over here is sober, then I'm not going to get I don't know how much of a chance I'm really going to get to apply the principles of the program that have been taught me. Last summer, I went to a Billy Joel concert, right? And last year they tried to create this bill for Mile High Stadium where a certain percentage had to be sober. And I'm like, no. And of course, the person that wanted this, they do events, sober events and things like that. Now, this guy is my age and he's doing like college ball and EDM concerts. And there's something it just doesn't quite. fit, right? But let's say at that Billy Joel concert, they're like, oh, yay, we have a sober area where we can go. And I don't have to be around drunk people. And I don't have to be about ditching it. And now I'm getting everything that I want. And I'm feeling very appeased, which means I'm never going to grow. Right? There was a young couple that sat next to us. Were they drinking? Yes, they were. Were they drinking a lot? No, they weren't. I don't know how many they had, but they didn't get drunk. They enjoyed the concert. But it turns out that this young man's father is also an alcoholic. And he was wondering what he could do himself to be able to help out his dad and himself and his family. Nice young man. Great young man with a very big servant's heart. I could see it. I would have never had that chance. I would have never had that chance. See, recovery is about giving up certain things to become what I need to be. Claire says, becoming part of a great whole instead of a part from the whole. I'm now one of the herd. And I am counted as a working member of society. Not everybody appreciates the work I do. I don't care. I don't care what people, I do care what people think of me, but only the people that I like. Okay. Now, see, there's a lot of worldly clamors. I'm going to tell you my only goal to make recovery better in Colorado. It's my only goal. Beyond that, I'm sorry, but I don't care about the rest of the stuff going on. I do know this. I know that Colorado is the hub of fentanyl. We are the hub. We have more fentanyl in Colorado than most every other state. We also the hub of communications, the hub of our, a lot. We're the hub of a lot of things, including travel, okay, Army, Air Force. We got all four of them here. Even the Navy's here. They got a place here. You always see Army, or you always see planes going up, back and forth. Okay. So it's my one. I could care less. Okay. I'm sorry that it's affecting you. And you can do all that, but I'm still going to do whatever I can to save your children and your grandkids. So I don't care. No, I will do that. It's part of recovery. It's a part of what I do. And I brought this up a couple of times, but I was talking to somebody at a treatment center, and we were talking about response. I was telling him we've got to be responsible for our resources. He brought up a couple of his resources, one who committed fraud. I told him, he's like, well, we don't go around talking bad about competition. And number one, saying competition, that told me where his head was at. That told me where his head was at. And my reply was, if we cannot have hard conversations, if we can't confront and get to the right answer, then you're right. Maybe it's best that you and I do not work together. That's exactly what I said to him. Not gonna, yeah. Oh, okay. Just got a message from my therapist. All right, so focus on recovery. A holistic journey of healing, personal growth, and developing a substance-free life. We just had a great meeting on this. The meeting was about God. And everybody, out of the 8 people, everybody had their own conception of God. And every single one of them were valid. There it is. When we talk about that everybody's recovery journey is different, this is what we're talking about. You'll hear things like multiple pathways to recover. Well, there's multiple pathways to recovery. I'm going to tell you, most people don't even understand what that means. They're like, and I thought it too, the very first time I heard it, the landing spot, right? Whether it was AA, Celebrate Recoveries, Smart Recovery, Dharma. At one point, somebody told me there were 47. So there were 47 pathways to recovery. I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. So I went and talked to some professionals about it, some people that are been in the field for a while. I'm like, what does this really mean? And they're like, multiple pathways to recoveries are the doctors, the lawyers, the therapists, the police officers, the people that we come into contact with who get us to AA. That is the multiple pathway to recovery. It's not the landing spot. There's four or five different programs that I agree work. And it's because I've watched time after time. I watch them do the work. I see them have a success rate because you're not running around trying to rape and pillage everybody over money or putting down AA, right? Because we don't put down the competition. Oh, go back to that. I told them I was not putting anybody down. I was giving you fact. And the fact of the matter is they committed Medicaid fraud and you are supporting them. That is fact. And we need to change that. Then, of course, came, oh, we got plenty of time. Oh, okay. He's like, I'll get a hold of you towards the end of the year. We'll see. We'll see. There's no skin off my back. It really isn't. Because the truth is going to come out sooner or later. It's already coming out. And by the end of the year, it'll be all the way out. All right. The skeletons are being yanked from Colorado's closet right now. But a holistic journey. What is a holistic journey? Holistic, to me, means spirituality. Now, I know in the sense of holistic, it's eating right and going to the gym and doing your breathing exercises and yoga. I don't do any of that shit. Do I seem unholistic to you? No, I'm not. All right. Definition: addressing the emotional, mental, we'll put it in here again, spiritual and social aspects of well-being, building healthy coping mechanism, and creating a fulfilling life without substance use. Man, God, this is so clinical. Oh, I just beat my head against my microphone here. Oh, oh, oh. It's doing the work. And here's the work. 1, you have to be aware of your alcoholism. You have to be aware of it. 2, you have to accept it in all of its ramifications. Not all ramifications are bad, but in this case, they're all bad. It's the consequences. You are no longer willing to accept the consequences of your drinking. That is what we're doing. When we say we are going to meet you where you're at, what we're going to do is raise the bomb. We're going to tell you about the yes. This is what's going to happen to you next, right? Then we move it. And so where are we at? We're at step 1. Then we admitted that we were an alcoholic. And our lives were unmanageable. Where do people get caught up in this? Well, look at all the money I have. You think this is about money? You think this is about material things? This is when people will get into the I am a high performing alcoholic. I am. Let's put some nice buzzwords in there with alcoholics. All right. I prefer hopeless, helpless drunk, chronic alcoholic. There you go, because that was me. Okay. So we do step 2. Now we need something else in our lives besides alcohol. It is a matter of replacement. That is cognitive behavioral therapy. We're going to replace it. In AA, what do we use? It's not God in the beginning, unless this person is ready to, do what they need to do to find a higher power. No, it's the group. The group is almost always the first higher power for somebody who's still searching for God. Because what happens is they see the group of people doing what they did, but now doing something different, and their life is much better. And they can see it because they're genuinely happy because they're not full of shit. Huh. What I say about AA, 2 things die when you get to AA: your old self and bullshit. You can't bullshit there. We will figure it out one way or another. All right. Then you find a higher power of your understanding, however limited it is. And it doesn't need to be huge. Most good ideas are simple, and this one is the simplest one. How do you find God? Well, first you quit the debating committee. You stop arguing. Open your mind a little bit. Search for something bigger than you. It's not going to be hard to find. It's all over the place because God is everything. God is air. God is water. God is trees. God is everything. May you live your life on, when I do good things, my life is better. When I do bad things, my life is not as good. That's spirituality. So we're going to find something to do what? What are we doing? We're filling up that big old hole in our stomach, right? And what do we call that? We call it a God-sized hole. What happened next? Hey, I found my higher power. I made a beginning. What are we going to do? Now we're going to get to the fourth step. You're going to write down everybody that's ever pissed you off. And here we go now. Oh, well, nobody ever made me mad. I was a happy drunk. You might even have to piss off your sponsee. I've had to do that. Oh, you don't get angry, huh? Poke, 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 poke. And then I'm going to end up on their force. So we do an inventory of ourselves. This is the causes and conditions. This is where we get down to addressing the emotional, mental, and social aspects and the spiritual aspects. Because if, again, there's that process again, awareness. So what is step 4? It's an awareness step. Step 1 is an awareness step. Step 4 is an awareness. 6, awareness. 8, awareness. Those are awareness steps. Then we have our action steps, 4 and 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? We confront we're doing is we confront our snakes. Then we find somebody and we're going to tell them everything about our lives, everything we've ever done bad, so that we don't have to continue walking around with blame and shame and guilt anymore, so that when somebody else needs help, we don't mind bringing it up. We're not embarrassed by it because we have settled it. Then we get on to 6 and 7 with character defects. And then we understand that perfection is what we're striving for because we need some kind of ideal. We need a new set of ideals. And that comes from your higher power. 8, we take a look at those we had harmed. 9, we may go out and make direct amends to those people that we have harmed. There is power in all of this. The power of God, the power of love, the power of good. And these are the things that make AA move. It is the things that heal us. So what you did, now you're at step 9. And instead of going to somebody and saying, I'm sorry that I did this, this, and this, you go and say, hey, you know what? I wasn't a very good person. I fucked a lot of things up. So I went and changed because I love you, because I care about what I did to you and it wasn't right. So I'm going to bring this to justice. I'm going to call myself out. I did that and I recognize it. And then we understand that the only true amends is changed behavior. It's the only one that exists. Then we get into 10. Yay, step 10. Oh, my favorite step, because it gives us the right to be wrong. It is the human step. This is where we start to find out that we don't have problems. We have opportunities. We start to find out that we have these skills we didn't even know that we had. We will then find, you will tap that unsuspecting inner resource, God, that you have had all along, but you chose to ignore. 11, we get closer to God. And in 12, you give it all away. If that process doesn't happen, it is not recovery. If that process right there doesn't happen, you are not in recovery. You are in sobriety. And you can say everything that you want, but I'll be happy to sit down with you. And or you can spend a day with me and you'll see how much different it is. I've been doing this 7.5 years. There's 3 people here. That's all that matters. Do you catch that now? If I was more focused on that number, these would just suck. All right, so definition, time frame, a lifelong process of ongoing growth and development. That's the scary part. Forever, ever? You mean forever, ever? Yeah, forever, ever. It does. The thought of not having a drink ever again does not bother me right now. This is where a day at a time comes. See, this is why AA is important. Why AI is incorrect, because it's time frame, a lifelong process. No, a day at a time. If you are not living a day at a time, if you are not living in the moment and enjoying the moment for what it is, you are in sobriety, not recovery. Those are the joys of recovery, that we are free, that maybe next door they're having a huge blowout party. And they're playing music and you don't like that type of music. And you can still sit in your backyard and enjoy your personal space. That's the difference between sobriety and recovery. When you're driving down the street, instead of yelling at this person and yelling at that person, taking your anger out on people that are never going to hear you so that you feel justified, but instead saying, you know what, you must be in a rush. I know you're not using your blinker, but I know you're coming in, so I'm going to give you a little bit of room and let you do it anyway. That's the difference between sobriety and recovery. That's the difference. It's joy. So true serenity, true peace of mind. Scope includes addressing the root causes of addiction, learning healthy coping skills, building a support network, and developing a positive self image. Self esteem, not they esteem. All right. So, what does that mean? It means it all starts with you. You're an agent of God. In essence, sobriety is a crucial first step. I would agree. I would have to agree with that. But recovery is an ongoing journey of building a healthy, fulfilling life that supports long-term well-being. It's about more than just not using, it's about becoming the best version of oneself. And I'm excited for you to find that. It's an adventure. Okay. It can either be an adventure or it can be arduous. That's going to be up to you. It's still going to be tough. Every adventure you read about, don't they have to overcome these different things and have faith in each other? And that, and even the good guys like, well, no, you can't touch me because, and you'll have like the main bad guy who's like super powerful, right? But this person over here who's not as powerful or whatever, what they have is fellowship, and that fellowship is stronger together than all the power of this one person. Adventures always work like that. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. I'll see some of you in 51 minutes, actually 56 minutes in our meeting. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.